September 13th. That's also a Wednesday. But we're gonna mix it up a little bit, and we're gonna go to the Runcible Spoon in Nyack. So maybe that'll make it a little bit easier for the southern part of the county to join us on that morning at 8:30. So mark your calendars if you want to come and chat with me. Moving on, going to talk about. So I'm going to talk about, what does Rockland need to stimulate its economy and make it a desirable place to, the phrase that we've heard over and over again, live, work, and play. Well, that's the question that's being kicked around by some think tanks and planners and industry leaders and our county executive, Ed Day, and an issue that's become even more urgent in the wake of the pandemic and what this post-pandemic economy that we are living through, which has given us a new lens to look at when we consider housing and workplace and development issues. Now, I mention all of this not just in the abstract, but there is so New York State has hired Patterns of Progress. That's an organization that I guess us wonky types are familiar with, but it's a Newburgh-based think tank, and it does a lot of regional planning. And it has, right now it is underway with an update for a plan, for economic development plan for what's known as the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development, basically the Mid-Hudson regional area. Now, the Patterns for Progress is working with something called the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council to update this report over the next 3 months, and it is calling upon the thinkers and leaders of this county to weigh in. And this is another thing that people should mark on their calendar. The Rockland County Input Session will take place on Zoom on September 8th. The details are in the story that we just published last night. Now, let me give you some background, because this is an important issue. This is the way in which many of the projects get funded, and the MHREDC is an economic advisory board that represents 7 Mid-Hudson counties: Dutchess, Orange, Putnam, Rockland, Sullivan, Ulster, and Westchester. That's one council. There are 10 across the state, and since 2011, these councils have been receiving great amounts of funding that are put toward all sorts of economic projects, and they can range from infrastructure to the arts and sort of everything in between. This is state money, but entities have to apply for this money, and then they have to be touted, and it's very competitive. So what we know right now, and why it is so important for people to step up and get involved in this, actually the funds, as some people might know them, they're called CFAs, Consolidated Funding Applications. So that's what we're talking about. But just to take a sidebar here, the Hudson Valley region received $808.3 million since the plan was created. Okay, that's according to MHREDC's 2022 annual report. And Rockland County, according to the county, has raked in $48.8 million since the inception of the program, but that's just 6% of the awards over 13 years. And if we, as we have done in this story, we've taken a look and we've drilled down to look at some comparisons. So in round 12, which is the last round of funding, Rockland County entities only 2 Rockland entities received funding. One was the Village of Haverstroh's redevelopment of the Chair Factory site that's down on the waterfront. They received $1 million for infrastructural improvements to stabilize the Hudson River shoreline and create a water promenade and pedestrian walkway. And then the second one, that was $1 million. And the second one was the Phoenix Theater Ensemble, which received $86,000 for the Phoenix Festival Live Arts in the Hudson Valley, which was a 6-week outdoor theater program that people may remember from last summer, late last summer. Now, I think this is striking. In contrast to Rockland County, Orange County received $5.4 million for 9 awards, including a $1.2 million for Storm King for 2 new buildings, $1.5 million for the Milk Factory, which is an adaptive reuse of an old factory to become a small village that has all sorts of interesting elements. And Westchester County received 16 grants, totaling $8.9 million. That was the top winner, including $1.5 million to the Electric Owl Studios in Hastings-on-Hudson, which is a multimedia production studio, and another $1 million for the Phase 4 of the Sawmill River daylighting project in Yonkers. So even when we look at, as we did, Sullivan and Dutchess and the rest of the counties, Sullivan, like Rockland, also only received 2. However, their totals came up to $3 million compared to under $1.1 million here in Rockland. And Dutchess pulled in $8.4 million, also a large sum, for 13 projects. And Ulster County scored $6.6 million for 13 projects. Putnam received $2.75. So if you look at all these numbers, the conclusion here is that Rockland County, I guess, fared the worst when you consider the number of grants that had came in last year or the last round, and certainly the amount. Now, I don't know the answer for why this is the case, but I think either way, what it says to me is there's an opportunity that's coming up on September, 8th. So people should sit at that table. They should participate. There's money out there. There's money for projects. These projects, help all sorts of. They're not limited in any way to large companies or government. And so I would urge people to get out there and apply for funds. There's money out there to be had, and it's a good. These are really good programs. So that's one thing. Any questions?
Nope, that was thorough. I'm satisfied with the information.
Okay. I mean, it's pretty interesting. On that council, we have four Rockland County representatives, and the story mentions who they are. So, okay, moving on. Just while I have a couple more minutes left, tomorrow, Bridges is going to debut a new program that it is doing. That it teams it with a White Plains nonprofit called Girl Again. So that's Girl, capital AGAIN, and that capital AG is about the American Girl doll. You may recall not that long ago, Juanio opened up a Lego store in Valley Cottage. This is a similar kind of idea where Bridges is teaming up with a nonprofit in Westchester called Yes She Can. That is it's a Westchester-based retail enterprise called Girl Again, which helps people with disabilities learn the art of retailing. And they've been running a very successful boutique for several years, where they essentially resell American Girl doll, which is a very coveted doll. Maybe there'll be maybe Greta Gerwig will move on from her Barbie movie and make an American Girl doll movie. Who knows? But anyway, it is a very coveted doll, and it's quite expensive. And so Bridges, in its windows, is going to be selling the secondhand dolls and accessories starting Tuesday. They're debuting this program on Tuesday, and I know that they're very excited about it, and they're going to be debuting it in the Palisades Center in their what's called the Independence Cafe, and this too will be another aspect for Bridges, to help their constituents learn how to sell things like the American Girl doll. So that is a new partnership that is about to launch on Tuesday. They're having an opening, I guess, sort of a ribbon cutting in the morning. That's tomorrow. Yeah, that's tomorrow. And it was interesting in my interview with the director of Yes She Can American, the woman who runs the organization over in Westchester. Both she and Carlos Martinez both spoke of how important partnerships are amongst nonprofits, and how that they've become more important, especially in the post-pandemic world. One of the things that I'm trying to just hold on a second. I'm losing her name from my memory, but the director. Oh, okay, Davy Small.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, she said. Well, she said to me, I've been in the field for 25 years, and I've seen a nice shift in the last year of nonprofits really trying to work together. Funding has grown tight, and we're all battling for the same money. In the past, there's been more of a competition. Something's changed. I'm not sure what, but nonprofits are pooling resources to serve as many people as possible. I thought that was a really lovely quote. We ended the story with that quote. I thought it was poetic, and I thought that there was a lot to ponder in that comment, which we added in the story.
And people can check that out on rcbizjournal.com. Thank you so much, Tina Traster, for joining us here on the morning show with Jeff and Will. See, I eventually remember the names. They pop back into your head. It all works. Yeah. Thank you so much, Tina. We'll talk to you. We're not going to talk to you next Monday because we're off for Labor Day, but we'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
Sounds good.